the Enforcer.
I believe they're called enforcers, Gordon. I sell women's shoes.
And the Stallion.
Stallion, baby! I am not what you would call a handsome man. I'll kick you in the nuts and you'll smile at me and like it. Oh, nice!
All right, attempt number 2. We're back with an all-new edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your host. He's the Stallion. I am the Enforcer, and I believe that little yellow box means we're on air. Is that true?
Yes, it does. We are on air.
Okay, good. So am I, on the air?
You're on the air, yeah. I think it's one of those things where, that riddle about, if a tree falls in the forest but there's no one around to hear it, does it make a sound type of thing? I think that's what we're at right now with our podcasts, because we're on the air, but I don't know if anyone's actually hearing it. I think that's kind of the riddle. So,
wow,
with that
actually kind of made me want to go to bed. Like go to bed. Like I just watched Glenn die in The Walking Dead. Sad. Go to bed. That was demoralizing, man.
I'm sorry. You know what? It's just I'm hungry. I think the kids call it hangry. I think that's what people call it these days.
Yeah.
And
I've had it. It was 2 hours ago. I'm also hangry. Well, listen. Let's get this show up. We'll do it quickly, and we'll get you some dinner, man. I think you need something, some protein, maybe some complex carbohydrates.
We got some chicken and applesauce in the fridge that's got my name on it that we're just that we're waiting to consume. So yes, as soon as we're done with our the Nightcap episode of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast, then I will consume it.
Fuck yeah, love applesauce, man. Huge mark for the applesauce. That's great. You got your sugars, you got your carbs, and you got your protein in the chicken. That's actually a perfect post-workout. So next time you hit the gym, probably tomorrow night, you get yourself some applesauce and some chicken. Well,
I'm going to do it.
Perfect. Listen, as you said, the Nightcap. Why we're here is we're talking about Wrestle Kingdom 12, which aired about 12 hours ago, Eastern Standard Time.
EST.
Live, EST, yeah. Live on NJPW World, or any other nefarious ways you got to watch it, Joe.
Yes, I cannot confirm or deny if I watched an illegally posted video of Wrestle Kingdom 12 mere hours after it completed. But either way, I was able to watch the majority of the show as we dealt with the bomb cyclone on the East Coast today.
Is that like Naito's finisher? What is that?
I think so. And whose finisher was? Meat.
Who?
Meat.
You know something? That's still a sore subject. I don't know if we talked about that on air.
We don't have to. It's okay.
Yeah, you know we're
I'll just post the picture to our Instagram and people can go there and look at it.
There you go. I'll tag. Is he? Hold on. Is Meat still with us?
Sean Stasiak, I believe that he is, unless I don't think he's in the wrestling business anymore, but I believe that he is. I'm not sure how we veered from New Japan Wrestle Kingdom to Sean Stasiak's persona as Meat in the late 90s, but we did.
I'm just hoping he's not dead. That's what I meant when I said, is he still with us?
Yeah. I hope he's not dead as well. That would
okay. Well, now that we've both agreed that we hope Sean Stasiak hasn't passed away, let's get to the Nightcap of Wrestle Kingdom 12. While I argue with a bunch of marks on Twitter over the show. Idiots. All right. It was a 37.5-hour show, which is down from last year's 46-hour show. So first and foremost, that's what I enjoyed. I'll break down the card real quick, and then we'll go into a little review. First section, I'm not going to break down the card. We're going to go. We'll talk about it as we go. First match on the pre-show was the New Japan Rumble. The New Japan Rumble is similar to the WWE Royal Rumble, except you can get eliminated by getting tossed over the ropes or getting pinned. I believe Michael Elgin won it last year. It's very similar to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in that nobody cares what happens if you win. So this year, I can't imagine the betting odds would have had Masahito Kakihara winning this one. Joe, what about you?
I did not have him winning. I did not. But was it better than the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in terms of quality?
Yes, it was. It was. You know why? Because having pinfalls in there added more to it. You know, like it wasn't your weight. You're trying to do the over the top rope stuff, but you know, adding the pinfall element kind of made it go by a lot faster. So I did enjoy that. And actually, Chase Owens had a really good showing, so that was pretty cool. Somewhere I read, correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, I could be wrong, but apparently Kakihara was, I want to say, diagnosed with cancer, and he had beaten cancer.
Yes, I read that also.
Okay, because I read that in a recap, and I was just looking it up right now, and I can't find it somewhere. So it was more like a kind of like a feel-good moment for him, which, if that's the case, then I am all for him winning, and good on him. I will say that. So,
yeah, good for him. I mean, it sounds like a good story. I mean, I didn't know too much about the guy, but if he overcame and beat cancer, and they gave him a win in this the first match on the card, then good for them.
Yeah, and usually every year they have a couple of surprise entrances. This year wasn't anything to write home about. I think Delirious, Cheeseburger, that's really it. That kind of stood out to me. It was good for what it was, and that's all it was. It was a kickoff show, and listen, it's a kickoff show. It's fine. The opening of the actual event was the Young Bucks against Roppongi 3K for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. Now, you and I both predicted the Young Bucks victory in this match, correct?
I don't remember. I think I took the Young Bucks. I know I took the Young Bucks. I don't remember if you picked which one you picked. We have to go back and listen to our prediction show.
Pretty sure I took the Bucks in this because I was saying, I don't know, who knows? My heart was going with the Young Bucks, but either way, I wasn't very impressed with Roppongi 3K the first couple of times I saw them, and I think they slipped up the game a lot in this match. This was, I think Cyrus or Don Callis said it. He alluded to the Young Bucks working an arm or working a limb that people weren't sure they could do, and this kind of had like more of a standard tag team formula. And I thought Roppongi 3K had a good match. They had I don't know which one it was, Show or Yo. I think it was Yo. He was kind of the face in peril for a lot of it, but he had some good spots, and and the Young Bucks got the win with was it the Boston Crab, right? No, I'm sorry, the Sharpshooter. It was the cease and desist.
Yeah, yeah. I think this was a good match. I liked it a lot. I thought it was one of the better. Well, it was a little bit different than the normal Young Bucks matches that I think we've been seeing for a while now, and I liked it because they kind of went through the story of Matt Jackson and one of the Roppongi 3K team members having back injuries, and so then working in those sharpshooters and single leg Boston Crabs, and kind of the way that the match went through. It had some good psychology to it, which not that the Young Bucks can't do that, because they can, but they don't always do it. It was a match that wasn't just a lot of high spots and dives and things like that. So I actually really liked it. It was, like I said, one of the better Young Bucks matches that I've seen in a while, and that they ended up winning the junior heavyweight tag titles. I think it's their 7th title reign.
Yes. And I believe Jim Cornette was the one that said the Young Bucks couldn't wrestle a regular match, in case you're wondering. Yeah, it was their 7th title reign, and as Don Callis said, Michael Jordan only had 6, and Michael Jordan is a mark, which popped me huge. So that was tremendous. So good for the Bucks. What I did know, next matchup will go is the gauntlet match for the never openweight 6-man tag titles. I'm not going to go through everybody that's in the match, but I caught probably 2/3 of it, and I will say good old Trent Beretta. Since he became a heavyweight and left Roppongi Vice, hasn't been very impressive. Not that he hasn't been impressive, but he hasn't had any impressive wins, and I think he definitely stood out in this match. He won the match, he got the pin, and so now you have Ishii, Beretta, and as the never openweight 6-man tag team champions.
Yeah, it sounds like I didn't get to see. This is one of the matches I didn't get. There's only I think 2 matches that I did not get to find on the internet. This was one of them, but I read the recap of it, and it sounded like like you described, that Beretta was kind of the focal point or star of the match in an intent to kind of get him more over and more attention in the heavyweight division. So he, I think, was kind of the focal point of this match, and his team ended up winning the 6-man titles.
Yep, no problem with that. Hopefully, as a local guy, Trent from Mount Sinai, I believe, saw him at the gym a couple times. Had a full-on conversation or two with the Natural, much to my chagrin. He's now joined the ranks of Kenny King and Trevor Lee. They're on my list, Joe. They're on the list. Next up, was supposed to be for the Ring of Honor World Title before Cody lost to Dalton Castle, but it was Cody. Don't call him Rhodes with Brandy Rhodes, who I think you're allowed to call Brandy Rhodes, which is interesting. Against Kota Ibushi, and you texted me something about this match right as it started. What was that text?
was it the Brandy is tremendous text that I sent? Okay.
Yep, fantastic. She's doing a great job. And I thought she actually cut I don't see she cut a promo, but she kind of was walking as she was walking to the ring. She kind of cut like a little mini promo. I thought it was actually really good. I haven't heard much of Brandy on the mic, but they had a spot where Ibushi dove to the outside and he took out Brandy and Cody, and then he felt sorry for Brandy, so he picked her up, and then Cody socked him with the right hand, and then she got right up, and I was like, man, that is just good classic heel stuff, you know? I was totally bought into that. But as far as the match goes, I thought it was actually, I'll ask you, true or false? It was the best Cody Rhodes match you've ever seen. I
think it was, he had that match with Okada in the G1 specials in Long Beach during the summer. It was on par with that, I would say, and those are the two best ones I've seen from him, as a singles wrestler. Either way, when he was in WWE or since he left. So from a singles match perspective, it was probably between this match with Ibushi and the match with Okada from the summer. Those are the two best efforts or matches that I've seen from Cody.
Yeah, he hit he kept a pace with Ibushi, which I think is tough, and he hit him with a nasty crossroads from the apron to the outside, and Ibushi sold it like he died. And I thought that was probably the spot of the match. I've already seen GIFs everywhere online, so good for Cody. He needed a big match. He didn't necessarily need the win, but I think he needed a big performance, and he really needed to get the crowd behind him. And I definitely think they were in this match. And I wonder how far in advance this was booked. I wonder if Cody was going over to Japan regardless, and Gedo had already booked Ibushi to beat Cody, and there was no leeway with it, so they had to put the title on Dalton Castle. Do you think that's possible?
I don't know. I think if that was the case and they wanted Ibushi to go over, that they could have just made it non-title, because when they did the Okada match with Cody was the ROH champion and Okada was the IWGP champion, and they just had Okada win and they didn't have any titles on the line. So they they could have made it non-title, because I don't know if the Dalton Castle win was planned. From what I heard, it was, but you never know what's really true. But yeah, I don't know. It was still, I guess, bottom line was, it was a good match, and I almost prefer the fact that he wasn't the champion, because if he was, I wouldn't want to see him either lose a title here or get pinned as the ROH champion. It did value that belt at all. So, but yeah, it was really good. I mean, it was probably better than I thought it would be, just given the level of Cody's matches that we've seen the last year or so.
Yeah, and we've talked about that too. And I think Cody stepped his game up, and I was happy to see the match played out the way it did. That makes me think also you're probably going to see Ibushi challenge either Omega for the IWGP United States title or for the IWGP Heavyweight title, relatively soon. But before that, next matchup was for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. It was the Champions Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith, and friend of the All Night Long Wrestling podcast, Lance Archer, taking on LIJ, Los Ingobernables de Japan.